Welcome. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Nobody's on here yet. That's okay. Welcome, welcome. My name is Moochie. I'm going to be your instructor today. This is Cycle Express. We're going to go ahead and get started in about 2 minutes. Just before we start class, make sure you're aware of whatever bike you're on, making sure you know how to add resistance and decrease resistance properly, as well as making sure that you have the right seating height. We're going to want to make sure our seat is parallel to our hip. So that way when we're pedaling, we can reach full extension with our hip and our knee. But if you want to go ahead and get started, go ahead and hop on your bike and start pedaling just so we can get our bodies into gear. But we'll give it about 1 more minute for the rest of the people to join. Make sure you guys have some water today. If you're here in the SRAC, please make sure to keep your masks on while you take this class. And if you're in the comfort of your own home, you're very lucky to have your own bike. All right, so today's class is going to look a little bit different. We're going to focus on interval training as well as resistance training, which last week, I did one resistance, one interval, but this week I'm going to kind of start to mix them a little bit as we figure out how to navigate virtual group fitness. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So if you're using a Schwinn bike, go ahead and locate that red knob on the center of the bike. For me, this is going to be a resistance knob. So turning it to the left is going to take off resistance. Turning it to the right is going to add resistance. But this is also going to be our emergency stop knob. So when you press down on that, you're going to bring your flywheel to a stop. In the case that it gets a little too out of hand or you have to hop off to go to the bathroom or something, that's how you use that knob. If you're not on a Schwinn bike or you're not in the SRAC, please make sure you know how to do those same things on your own bike just to get the most out of this class. Everybody go ahead and sit up nice and tall for me. Give a couple shoulder rolls back. Good. Hinging forward at the hips, we're going to find a light grip on our handlebars. Good. There should be a slight bend in both of our elbows. Good. And as we cycle today, we're going to want to make sure that we have that engaged core, open chest, and flat back posture, pushing through the center of our foot where we get the majority of our power. If you're in the SRAC or you have a console on your bike that lets you know your RPMs, go ahead and turn that on. Again, you don't need it, but it's a good look point to see how hard you're working in this class. Good. On a scale of 1 to 10, we're going to want to be at a moderate 5 in our warm-up. So we're wanting enough resistance on the flywheel to where we feel like it's making contact with the road. So we feel like we're putting in a little bit of work, but we could be doing it for a very long amount of time. And this is going to be our warm-up level just to get our bodies ready for Cycle Express today. Again, if you're joining in, my name is Moochie, and it's going to be a great 30 minutes with you guys. We've got about 1 minute left in our warm-up song, and then we're going to go straight into stage 1, which we will kick off with sprints, and I will explain that a little bit later. And stage 1 is going to be a 2-stage work song, or a 2-song work stage. And then we're going to have a recovery, and we're going to go into stage 2 that has 3 work songs. And then we'll be right into cool down. We are moving into stage 1 in about 10 seconds. And we're going to kick it off with 30-second sprints. And I will cue us when those are a go. For sprinting, it's really important that we keep control. So before we start our 30-second sprint bout, it's important that you add resistance. And if our hips feel super, super bouncy in the seat, maybe add a little bit more. Again, we're looking for stability in speed and not just speed. So we're going to be doing 3 rounds of 30-second sprints. And our first one is in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Working on getting our RPMs anywhere between 85 and 105 for 30 seconds. Good. Halfway there. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. We're off for 30 seconds. Good. A nice, friendly way to kick off class. And we are back on for our second sprint in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Giving that resistance knob a turn to the right and bringing our RPMs up for our second sprint. Good. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. 30 seconds off. Good. We've got one more sprint, and then we've got a little bit of a break before we go into our next work song. So we're almost one song in. Our last sprint coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Really dig deep right here. This is our last sprint of this song. Good. Five, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Good. 30 seconds off. And then we get about 15 seconds before we go into our next song. So take advantage of this time. Get some water if you need to. We got about 30 seconds. Good. We're going to move from this song into our standing flat. So when I cue you, go ahead and come up out of the saddle with me. It's very important that we give our resistance knobs a big turn to the right, or just give our resistance knobs more resistance on it. That way we can combat the rest of our weight over the pedals. So when you are ready, giving that knob a turn and coming up out of the saddle, we want enough resistance to where we feel controlled. Again, really focusing on our hips controlled. Good. And this song is going to be a standing flat. So the challenge is staying standing the entire time. When we're in this standing position, we again want to focus on that engaged core, open chest, flat back, keeping the majority of the weight over the seat and the pedals. Good. And we're going to be up and standing for about 2 minutes. Good. Focusing on pedaling through the center of our foot and making sure we're standing up and not leaning forward on our handlebars. We got about a minute left in this standing position. Then we get a nice short recovery song before we go into stage 2. Good. Good. Keep pushing. About 20 seconds left standing. Good. And take a seat. Take some of that resistance back. We got about 3 minutes in recovery before we get started on stage 2. Taking this time to catch our breath, get some water, and bring our heart rates down a little bit before we finish it off with stage 2. Stage 2 is going to be kicked off with the drill called 30-20-10, which we're going to be 30 seconds in pretty easy work. So in that, on a scale of 1 to 10, that 5 that we were in for our warm-up, once those 30 seconds hit, we're going to turn our resistance knob right and kick it up for 20 seconds. And then once those 20 seconds are over, we're going to turn our resistance knob up a little bit more and go out into an all-out sprint for that last 10 seconds, where we will then come back to that 30 seconds and easy. And we're going to do that for about 4 rounds. And that will be the start of stage 2. And then once we get into stage 2, I'll explain it as we go. But just so that you're prepared, that's how we're kicking it off. Taking advantage of this time to kind of pedal it out. We got about a minute left. Catch our breath and get our bodies ready for stage 2. Because we've only got about a minute left, I would encourage you creeping up that resistance a little bit, just a little bit, to get your legs back in gear and ready for stage 2. Good. We got about 10 seconds left, so if you haven't creeped up that resistance, now would be the time to do so. And like I said before, we're going to kick off stage 2 with our 30-20-10 drill. 4 rounds of it. And we're going to go ahead and start that interval timer in 3, 2, 1. So we're in that 30 seconds of easy work right now. So we shouldn't have changed pace too much from our recovery, but maybe added a little bit of resistance. And I'll cue us as we further add resistance in this drill. Good. And we're going to increase our resistance in 3, 2, 1. Give that knob a little bit of a turn to the right, and we're going to be in this for about 20 seconds. Good, and giving that knob a turn to the right in 3, 2, 1, and we are in our all-out sprint mode. So we have a good amount of resistance. I wanted to get our RPMs up, and we relax in 3, 2, 1, and bring it back down for 30 seconds of easy work. Good, and we're going to be doing that 3 more times. And give that resistance knob a turn to the right in 3, 2, 1, 20 seconds. Good. And we are in our all-out sprint in 3, 2, 1. Giving that knob a turn to the right and getting our RPMs up for only 10 seconds. Push through, you're already halfway there. 3, 2, 1, and relax a little bit. 30 seconds of light work. Good, halfway done. Good. Giving that resistance knob a turn in 3, 2, 1. We're now in 20 seconds of harder work. Good. If our legs start to get tired, we can focus on pulling our heel to our glute to engage our hamstring a little bit more. And we are in our round of 10 seconds in 3, 2, 1. Kick that resistance up and go into a sprint. Good. Push, push, push. 3, 2, 1, and relax. 1 round left. We are almost there. 30 seconds of light work is yours. Kicking that resistance up for our 20 seconds in 3, 2, 1, 20 seconds. Remembering this is our last round, so giving me everything you've got. Good. And going into our last 10 seconds in 3, 2, 1. 10 seconds left. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Good. Take some of that resistance off. We're going into our second song, which is going to be a seated climb. So there'll be options for you to increase that resistance. And we're going to simulate what it feels like to climb a mountain. And I will give us cues when we're focusing on increasing that resistance. All of the cues are optional. So if you feel like you max out at a certain point, go ahead and cut off adding resistance and honor your body. Good. This drill is about 4 minutes long. So we'll have 1 turn per minute. And we're going to give our knob about a half turn right here as our very first turn. Keeping in mind that we have 3 more throughout the song, but this song is pretty paced. So try and push yourself to get all 4 turns. Good. Our RPM should be anywhere between 65 and 85, depending on personal preference. But if you're exceeding 85, go ahead and add a little bit more resistance to your flywheel. Good. We got our second half turn right here. Again, remembering we're simulating what it feels like to climb a mountain. So the closer you get to the top, the heavier it's going to get on your feet as you pedal. But just keep pushing through. Remembering to pedal through the center of our foot. Good. And we've got our third half turn right here. Good. It should be getting harder and harder to pedal through. This is another time when you can focus on pulling your heel to your glute to take some of the stress off of the front of your legs and bring it right to the back of your legs. Good, we've got about a minute and a half left in the song with one resistance turn left. I challenge everybody to push through, but if you have maxed out, please honor your body. Keep pushing through. Good. And our last resistance turn is in 3, 2, 1. Good, another half turn. We're cycling out at this pace for 50 seconds. Really pushing through. We've only got one more song after this. Good. We should start to feel our quads burning. This is all good things. Good, just under 30 seconds left. Good, almost there, 10 seconds. Keep pushing through. 3, 2, 1, and take some of that resistance off. We're gonna finish this class with our tried and true Tabata. So we're gonna have 8 rounds. What Tabata looks like is 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. So 8 rounds. We're gonna alternate between seated sprints and standing heavy. So what that's gonna look like for 20 seconds, we're gonna be in a seated sprint. We're gonna take off 10 seconds. 20 seconds, we're gonna be standing. Take off 10 seconds, so on and so forth. Again, we're doing this for 8 rounds. So we're starting round 1 in 3, 2, 1, starting with that seated sprint for 20 seconds. Good, remembering to have enough resistance on our flywheel that our hips are stable. 10 seconds left. Good. And relax for 10 seconds. When we come back for our next 20 seconds, we're gonna be standing, and we're gonna do that in 3, 2, 1, coming up out of the saddle for round 2. Good. And we are off in 3, 2, 1, down, 10 seconds off. Good, but don't get too comfy because we're back in for a seated sprint in 3, 2, 1, 20 seconds right here. Good. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 10 seconds off. We are back standing in 3, 2, 1, 20 seconds standing. Good, remembering to maintain control and stability while we're standing. 10 seconds left. Good. 3, 2, 1, and down, relax. 10 seconds off. We are halfway there. On for a sprint in 3, 2, 1, 20 seconds. Good, push through. 3, 2, 1, and relax. 10 seconds off. But we are standing in 3, 2, 1. Join me up out of the saddle. Good. 10 seconds left. And we are down in 3, 2, 1. 10 seconds off. We have one more seated sprint and one more standing, and then we go straight into the cool down. So we're on for a sprint in 3, 2, 1. Good, getting those RPMs anywhere between 85 and 95. Good, keep pushing. Relax in 3, 2, 1. Good. Only one more 20-second bout, and then we are home into our cool down, standing in 3, 2, 1. 20 seconds left. Good. Push right here. Halfway there. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good. Come down, take a seat on your bike. Take that resistance off. And take this time to bring down your heart rate a little bit, get some water, and just chillax until we start our on-bike stretches. Good, taking advantage of this time. Maybe we're giving ourselves a high five because we did great. There are my lights. Maybe we're giving ourselves a pat on the back because we did awesome. And maybe we're just having a fun time because we enjoyed the class. But whatever it is, go ahead and bring your arm across your chest, acting as almost as if there's a magnetic repel between your ear and your shoulder to stretch out our arms. Good. Relax and switch arms. Bringing that opposite one across the body, again, acting as if there's a magnetic repel between our ear and our shoulder. Good, and relax. Go ahead and press down on that center red knob for me. Bringing your flywheel to a stop, we're gonna hop off the bike. Find that nice incline right in the back of it and prop our toes up on it. Hinging forward at our hips, we're gonna find a nice stretch in the bottom half of our legs. Some of you may know them as the calves. In that back upper half of our leg. Good. And release, same thing on that other leg. Again, making sure we're keeping our hips square to the bike and hinging forward. Good, and release. Going into our last stretch, we're gonna grab our ankle and point our knee directly at the ground, finding that stretch in the upper front half of our leg. We can hang onto the bike for stability if we need to. This is not a yoga class. Though if you do want to take yoga, I encourage you to look at our Group X schedule on KSU Sports Rec on Instagram, Facebook, and or Twitter. And just browse about, see what other classes you're wanting to take. Good, and release, same thing on that other leg. Again, pointing our knee directly at the ground, focusing on keeping our hips right underneath us so we can get an optimal stretch for our quads. Good. And release. Thank you guys so much for joining me. My name is Moochie. This was Cycle Express, and I hope to see you guys back next week.